Everyone, welcome back to the Empty Pantry. I'm Amy and I'm here to help you turn your tight budget into delicious meals. Today we are diving into the world of Thanksgiving leftovers. We don't want them to go to waste, so what do we do with them? Our family doesn't want another Thanksgiving dinner. Today I'll share with you 3 options to take those leftovers and turn them into something amazing.
First, I'll show you how to make a turkey soup with some cracker dumplings, followed by a very easy cheesy turkey strudel, and then the easiest recipe, a turkey potato casserole. This is great for those nights where you just want to sit on the couch. First, we're going to make some turkey soup. I'm going to break it into 3 parts, the stock, the soup, and the cracker dumplings. So if you already know how to make part of the recipe, you can fast forward. So starting with our turkey carcass, I put it in a crock pot, a large crock pot, and I've covered it with water. So depending on how big a bird you have, you just cover it with water. So that's kind of a variable. To the water, I'm going to add some carrots, onion, and celery. We're not going to actually eat these, so they don't have to be perfectly chopped up in any specific size. They're going to cook a very long time. We're just trying to get the flavor out of them. So for the celery, go ahead and leave the leaves on the stalks of the celery. They actually have a really nice flavor that will add to that broth that we're making. And we're just going to put a lid on this and we're just going to let it go until the meat is just falling off of the bones. The vegetables have lost almost all of their color. We have all of the flavor out of them. We'll strain off the broth and then we will separate the turkey that's left in there off of the bones. So we have about 8 cups of stock and then we have about 2 cups of turkey that we are going to use for the soup. So starting with a large soup pot, I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of olive oil. And to the olive oil, this is over like a medium heat, medium high heat. I'm going to add half a cup of diced onion. And I'm going to just saute that for a little bit until it gets translucent. And once it does, I'm going to add 1 clove of crushed garlic to it. We don't want to add the garlic too soon because we don't want it to burn and get bitter. So 1 clove of garlic in there. Cook the garlic and onions until they're aromatic. And then we're going to add 1 each, 1 carrot sliced and 1 stalk of celery that has been sliced. And then we'll stir that around, just kind of coating it in the oil and the garlic. We're going to cook this with the turkey broth, so we don't need to worry about it becoming soft at this point. It'll have a lot of opportunity to become soft. So once you have done that, we're going to add in our turkey broth or stock that we made earlier. So it's 8 cups of turkey stock. If you're just using a can, you can do that as well. 8 cups. And then to that, we'll add our turkey that we had. So about 2 cups of turkey. You could do chicken too and make it a chicken soup. So put those in. And then the final thing we'll add in is a 1/4 cup of fresh parsley or like a tablespoon of dried parsley if you don't have fresh parsley, some salt, and some pepper. And then we're just going to let this cook, let all of those flavors meld together. And we're going to make sure that the vegetables are soft. Now we want to leave this going. We want it to be nice and hot before we put our dumplings in. So we're going to leave it on the stove. Now, right before we're ready to eat, we're going to make the dumplings. So I've turned my soup onto high. I want it really boiling for these dumplings while I make this very simple dumpling dough. So 1 egg in a large bowl. And then we're going to take 1 sleeve of saltine crackers or the equivalent of, and we are going to crush them. So whatever method you like, your fist, a rolling pin, whatever, we want to try to crush those. You can also use baggie for this. Sometimes this method, that bag will explode, just fair warning on that. And try to get them as munched down as you can while they're in the bag. Once you dump it out of the bag, it's a little bit harder because you have to do it with a spoon. So once those are all mushed down, we're going to pour those in with the egg. And if there are any large pieces left, go ahead and use your spoon to crush those into little tiny bits. And then to that, we're going to add just a little bit of garlic salt. These are already salty, so don't go crazy with the garlic salt. Just a tad bit of garlic salt, maybe a quarter teaspoon, maybe even an eighth. You don't even have to put garlic salt in if you don't like. And then just a little bit of pepper, just a couple of cranks of pepper, a couple of shakes. Then we're just going to mix this around. We want to make sure that garlic, salt, and pepper are distributed. And you can see that it is kind of dry. We're going to mash this with our hands into little balls and make it kind of nice and tight before we put it into the soup. So we have that all mixed together, and I'm going to use a little cookie scoop so that I can get my balls even, and just put it in your hands and then really mush it together. You want that egg to get those crackers to go together. And then once you have a semi-round ball, mine are kind of funny shaped, but that means they're homemade, right? So I'm going to make them and put them to the side. I'm going to do that, make them all and then put them all in at the same time so that they're cooking evenly. Once you've completed making all your dumplings, we're going to open the soup pot, and you can see that it is boiling. You want it very, very hot before you drop these in. And I'm going to drop them in just one at a time so they are not touching each other. They're not crazy sticky, but they could stick together. So one at a time, I'm dropping them into the boiling water. And these only need a couple of minutes to cook. There's nothing, there's the egg in there, but egg cooks really fast, especially in boiling water. And you'll want to make sure that they're all floating and they're going to be done. So once that is done, you're ready to serve up your soup. And we have a very yummy dinner, really utilizing the carcass and something that we normally would have just thrown away of our turkey soup with cracker dumplings. Now let's make that turkey strudel. I'm going to start on a baking sheet with some parchment paper, and I'm going to unroll one package of crescent dough. You could also buy this in the sheets if that's available. I bought it this way, so I'm just using my fingers to kind of mash those seams together and try to make it one solid piece. Once I have that mashed together, I'm going to take 6 ounces of Havarti cheese with dill, and I'm going to slice that up and put it over the top kind of evenly. Don't get too close to the edges because we're going to need to fold those over at the end. Now, if you can't find the Havarti with dill, you can just buy plain Havarti and then just sprinkle a little bit of dill on the top of the cheese. You can do that also. Once I have the cheese down, I'm going to take 2 cups of my cooked turkey, my leftover turkey, and I'm going to put that on top of the cheese, followed by 2 slices of cooked bacon that I have chopped up and crumbled it up. Once that's done, I'm going to take my second package of crescent dough, and I'm going to unroll it just like a little blanket over my turkey and cheese. And then I'm going to start to fold the edges up and over. So I'm sealing it like a little package and just go all the way around and try to press that down really well so it seals. We want to try to keep that from opening up. And then once you have that all sealed, we're just going to slice some nice slits in the top to let some of the air out. And this can also be made into a little design if you want to get fancy, because this is dinner. It's super, super easy. So now that we have those slits in there to let some of the hot air out, we're going to put that in the oven, and we're going to bake this at 350 for 20 to 25 minutes. We're looking for it to be nice and brown, that dough to be done on the bottom. So 20-25 minutes, just watch it in your oven till it's done. And then we're going to take it out and just let it sit for just a minute before we slice it up to serve it. And there we have our turkey strudel. That recipe was easy, but I believe this one is even easier. We're going to make a turkey potato bake. So starting with a family size box of scalloped potatoes, we're going to dump the potatoes in a casserole dish. And then we're going to take the little sauce packet that they gave us, and we're going to put that on top of the potatoes. And then we're going to add 3 tablespoons of butter, or margarine would be fine in this recipe. Just throw that on top. And then we're going to add 3 cups of boiling water. Now, it is important that this water is boiling because we need to rehydrate those potatoes. If you're using cold or tap water that's warm, it's going to take longer to bake because you need that water to be at the boiling temperature. So having it boiling in the beginning does give you that kind of boost on rehydrating those potatoes. Now that we have our water in there, we're going to add 3/4 a cup of milk. Then we'll add in 2 cups of cooked turkey. Now, if it's the end of the turkey and you want to use it up, you feel free to put more in here, or if you have less, then put less in here. But this is 2 cups of cooked turkey. And then I have 1 cup of cheddar cheese that I have shredded, and I'm going to put the majority of it in it. I am reserving a little bit of it to the side. And then about 1 teaspoon of dried parsley. This is just kind of for color. And then I'm going to get that mixed around. And once it's mixed around, I'm going to take the remaining cheddar cheese and just kind of sprinkle it on top. This is going to make just like a little bit of a topping. Not too much because that is kind of liquidy, but a little bit of cheese on top. And then we're going to put this in the oven. And this is going to bake at 400 degrees for about 40 to 45 minutes. We're looking for most of that liquid to be absorbed, those potatoes to be rehydrated. Then we're looking for most of the liquid to be evaporated. Not all of it will be. Some of it will evaporate once you take it out of the oven, but it should look about like this. And then you're ready to serve it up. This is our turkey potato casserole.
If you think any of these recipes look delicious, would you give me a thumbs up? And don't forget to hit subscribe. If you have your own favorite recipe for using up leftovers, would you share it in the comments below? And until next time, happy cooking. Bye.